never been to a retreat, especially a silent retreat, with maybe some spiritual companionship, are amazed at how come out the other end and feeling as if they've discovered something about themselves that they hadn't known before, getting to the authentic self. And a daily spiritual practice, whether it's prayer or meditation or walking meditation or whatever it is, it makes such a difference in terms of how you handle things and how you get on with your life if you have a regular spiritual practice, some where you actually make time. If you make time to do your practice, it becomes part of who you are. And it's like food, you can't get on without it.
Before I had children, I spent a lot of time learning about myself and exploring and finding practices that resonated with me and cultivating relationships that were really healthy and beneficial. And I think in this time where my life is so busy and a whirlwind and it can be tumultuous at times, but sometimes it's just something simple like every time I'm at a red light, using it as an opportunity just to take some deep breaths when I'm washing the dishes, being aware of my breath, and then you're running throughout your day and you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't taken a deep breath. Right. I haven't been breathing. Just the beauty. Sometimes all I can do is just find a few breaths for myself. Yes. When I'm stressed and busy and not breathing and my mind is over here when I should be here, that actually really affects my interactions with my children.
Part of it is caring for my own relationships with friends and having communities that support me in the work I do. I work with a group of colleagues in our unit that's called Justice Global and Ecumenical Relations. Is a really fine group of people to be working with, and I think helps keep the different pieces of the work linked and helps us keep remembering that we do the interchurch and interfaith work for the sake of the mending of the world, for the sake of the partnerships globally and locally, for the sake of the justice work. And so all of that, I mean, helps keep me grounded in why I do what I do. Yeah, lots of reading. Time to pull back to myself. Family, I don't have children of my own, but I have nieces and nephews and a brand new great niece that I'm going to see.
Her first inclination, as is with so many of us when we find something really good, is we want to share it. And that's what she began doing. She began talking. She began an in-depth study of the scriptures, of the Bible. She began teaching. She began writing. All of these continued during this time, which amazes me. During the 3-year period that she devoted to writing her work, Science and Health, she moved 22 times. And all within the town of Lynn, Massachusetts. She was literally living in boarding houses and on charity. That's why her story as a woman and her own spiritual journey, I think, is vastly important. You don't know what's behind the words that she has written, the life that has been lived, that this isn't mere theory. That she's written when she says, to those leaning on the sustaining infinite, today is big with blessings. Those are words that someone who had lost everything, had no material means of support, could say with authority. And so that's why we do need to know her story.
If the purpose of life was to experience the divine reality within one's own heart and to manifest this reality, then monastic life was sort of the most fully involved way of focusing and doing this. And so this is why I chose monastic life. Spiritual life is day to day working at oneself
Mhm.
and working for one's spiritual goals. And that's the experience of monastic life. I think if it's meant for you, then it's a life of tremendous joy
Mhm.
and a tremendous fulfillment. And so I feel very blessed to be able to live this life.
Mhm.